like to share with you this useful technique that was taught to me a long time ago by Bill Hahn. So we'll be working in the vise here, so I'll show you something. I'm going to be making some decorative rivets. Now this one isn't real good, this was kind of freehand, but I want to do a really crisp, clear job of it and everything be under control, right? One way I can do that is after I forged the head on this particular one, right, I dropped it into this header and then I just worked it with the hammer. And I worked it with the hammer down, getting the facets, cleaning up the chisel work, right? But when you have it in there, it has a tendency to move around on you and jump around. And the ones I'm going to be making really have to be precise, and they're a bit more detailed. So I don't want them running around on me while I have them in there. So I'm going to mount them in a vise where I can grip them. Now to do that, I'm going to have to drill a hole through my jaws. Now most of you have seen my vise before, and you've seen that I've taken the hard jaws out, and these are 2 1.25 inch square stock that I have mounted into the vise for jaws, because I've taken and ground the end and put a radius on them for when I'm bending things, and then this one has another radius this way for when I have to have that and I'm hammering down on things. This end's flat. So what I've done here, I'm going to have to drill a hole in here, and I'll explain about that hole later. But before I even get started, I just put a line, a straight edge, and I put a line across so that I will line these up when they're in the drill press, so they're lined up exactly right. So I've already unbolted them, so they're just sitting here right now, and so we're going to take those out for now and take them over to the workbench and lay it out, and then we'll drill it on the drill press. So that's all I have. There's the blocks. So let's go to the bench. I hope I can explain this in a manner that even a novice will be able to understand it. I hope we can get this. So we're going to drill a hole down between right here in the middle, so these 2 jaws can clamp this bolt, right, 3/8. But what I would like is I want an oval hole here. And I'll tell you for why. If I had just a straight hole in there, when it comes into it, it would grip it to the point where it traps it. It can't move. So the hole actually has to give way on the edge to allow it to release, all right? But it has to grip it as well. So for me to do that, I'm going to take and put shims. Now I've taken some cardboard and I've mic'd them, taken the micrometer till I got the thickness I want. I'm going to go up a 32nd larger than the 3/8 hole, and that's every bit of about 31 thousandths bigger. So I have over 40 thousandths here in shim material. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that there between it when I clamp it up in the drill press. Then I'm going to drill it with a drill bit that's a 32nd bigger than this. And that will allow the sides to be wider so it doesn't catch it, right? But this spacing in here is bigger than the difference between this, it's thicker than the difference between this and the 32nd smaller of the 3/8. Okay. So this is more than that 32nd. Okay, even though I've gone up a 32nd bigger in drill bit, this is more than a 32nd here. And what that will allow is that when this is taken out and it's in the jaws will come in and they will actually grip on the 2 sides. because it has to hold it in place. It can't rotate because I'm going to be doing work on it, right? So it's going to grip it because it's a little bit smaller than the material, and it'll grip it, but yet it won't trap it. Do you understand? So if I put this in the drill press and drill it out with these shims in it, and I drill it out right there, 30-second bigger, take the shims out, put this in my vise, now I'll have an oval hole. Okay? Okay, now that I have it in the vise, I trimmed off the cardboard a little bit, so right down in there. Go. All right, now here we have our hole, and it grips the piece, but you see it doesn't trap it. There's our hole. It's actually an oval hole. It's hardly recognizable, but it is an oval hole, and the piece slide right in and out of it without ever being trapped. But yet it'll grip it. You see the jaws aren't together there, are they? Oops, the screw came out. So let's put it back in the vise, put it all back together and try it out. Okay, I've put these back into the vise and drop this in here. Look at that. It grips it real nicely. It isn't going to move. It isn't moving. I can put it right where I want it, like that, and work on it without it moving on me. If I have to do any chisel work, let's see. Let's get a piece. Right now I'm just going to set that in there, just where I want it, just like that, just so. I'm going to take this chisel and work these in a little bit. See, it doesn't move on me now. I can do my work just precisely as I would like. Right where I want it. See, I can just sit here, put the facets on it the way I want to with the hammer. It won't move. If I want to do even a more accurate job, I can sit here with a set hammer. And I get those just exactly the way I want them. Not bad. It's looking good. See how it doesn't stick in there at all? So just keep refining that. See, it holds it real well for you too while you're brushing it. Not bad. Pull right up, get a hold of it. See, the head's not wonky or anything. Everything's really nice and orderly. And that's okay, good. So that's how to do that. Okay, so there it is. Now you've seen that little technique to build the piece to grip this in the vise. All right. Now I'll show you something else too. I use that same technique when I'm making dies in the power hammer to forge that round shank that was on the end. You saw me forge the round shank on the end? The only difference is I'm far more precise on the amount of shim material. I make sure that the shim material is exactly the same number of thousandths that the new bit, the larger bit is. So that when these things come down, then we have that oval hole. So when they come down, the hole itself, in this case 3/8, will be exactly 3/8. So there'll be an oval hole, and you put the piece of metal into it, and you rotate it, and the top and bottom is 3/8. It can't be anything more than that because of the hammer being down, and you just rotate it, and next thing you know, you've got a 3/8 round shaft. You could do it with quarter, whatever. But in this case, we have a 3/8 perfectly round shaft on the end of the square bar. So there it is. I hope that's some help to you. If you found this interesting, leave this thing in the comments. If you're just stopping in, just saying hey, leave it in the comments. Say hey, how you doing? I'd like to hear from you. I really enjoy the time we spend together here in the shop. So thank you.